Hey guys, today we are going to be looking at two quarterbacks. And not just any two quarterbacks who are extremely hyped up coming out of college and high school. Of course, we are talking about Peyton Manning and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence could be spotted mentoring at the Manning Passing Academy back in 2019. Little did we know that Trevor Lawrence would be the first #1 pick to ever come out of Clemson. Okay, who am I kidding? He was projected to go #1 since he chose to go to Clemson. The college football world knew about both Trevor Lawrence and Peyton Manning in their high school days. Trevor Lawrence completely ripped it up at Cartersville High School in Georgia, throwing 41 touchdowns and only 1 interception in his senior year. Meanwhile, Peyton Manning's high school stats are not as easy to find as Trevor Lawrence, although they were still great. Peyton Manning and Trevor Lawrence played in two different generations in high school. As you can expect, Lawrence obviously attempted more passes, so Trevor Lawrence's stats look way more impressive. I also wish we had Peyton Manning's interceptions, but I could not find that anywhere. And believe me, I searched everywhere on the internet. Peyton benefited from having a former NFL QB as a dad. Back in the day, Peyton Manning would get way more attention than your average high school standout. Obviously not as much attention as they are given to Peyton's nephew Arch Manning right now, who could be a legit 2026 first pick. Peyton Manning would choose to go play for Tennessee after high school in 1994, and it would be there where he would go down as the greatest volunteer of all time, and go down as one of the greatest college football players to ever play in the Southeastern Conference. Here's what I found for Peyton's scouting profile on the web. Some pros were that he possessed great footwork, was accurate when throwing medium to short passes, and was labeled a perfect teammate by his peers at Tennessee. Even nicknamed the Caveman because of all the time he spent watching film in the film room. As for the cons, most scouts listed his arm strength as not strong enough for an NFL quarterback, and another one was that he wasn't the most athletic QB outside of the pocket. As we all know, Peyton Manning would get drafted by the Indianapolis Colts with the first pick in the 1998 NFL Draft. At this point in the video, you may be asking, why compare him to Peyton Manning when there are other first pick QBs who had a lot of hype as well, like Matthew Stafford, or Sam Bradford, or even compare him to somebody who had more hype than Peyton Manning, like Andrew Luck? Well, the reasoning because Peyton Manning is the only first pick in NFL history who's in the conversation for GOAT status. Not only that, but Trevor Lawrence is on record of saying that Peyton Manning is his favorite player. Trevor Lawrence even said that Tennessee would be his dream school to go to, which happens to be the same school that Peyton Manning went to. Of course, at the time he said that, he was only in the 8th grade. And I guess you can say the hype changed his mind. As we all know, he sided with Clemson, the school with the bigger football program. Peyton Manning is the only 5-time NFL MVP in history. No other player has even reached 4. Peyton Manning is the only quarterback in NFL history to take 4 different head coaches to a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning is also the only quarterback in history to win a Super Bowl and a league MVP with more than one team. Manning also holds the record for most touchdowns and passing yards thrown in a season. Oh, and Peyton Manning is one of 2 quarterbacks to reach 200 career wins. Now that we got the Peyton Manning worship out of the way, we can now take a gander at Trevor Lawrence's scouting profile. Most scouts can agree that one of Trevor Lawrence's best qualities is how fast he can get the ball out, and how accurate he can do it. And since we have been talking about all these similarities between Peyton Manning and Trevor Lawrence, let's look at a huge difference, and that is Trevor Lawrence's athleticism outside of the pocket. And that's extremely rare for a quarterback that is extremely deadly from inside the pocket. Another thing like Peyton Manning, Trevor Lawrence's teammates had nothing but good things to say about him, like the fact he's a hard worker, first one there, last one to leave the field. As for the Trevor Lawrence cons, all scouts mention that his frame for his size could have a negative effect in the NFL. especially for a pocket passer. Also, there was a few games like versus LSU where he had a few embarrassing passes and just didn't look in form. Another con is sometimes he can be a one-read quarterback, but that one I'm not too worried about because I see that one on all quarterbacks. For instance, Justin Herbert, he was going to be a bust because he's a one-read quarterback, and so far that's not looking like a good take. You know you are a close to perfect QB prospect when you have less than 5 scouting cons. Now we all know Peyton Manning had an amazing career, but it didn't start out so good for Peyton. Peyton Manning was drafted to the Colts, and the 1997 Colts were terrible, as you can expect from a team that has the number 1 pick. The Colts finished 3-13 in 1997 and were bottom of the barrel for almost every statistic there was. This team was so bad that they didn't even have a single Pro Bowler. There's a reason that 8 years previous to the 1998 NFL Draft, the Colts tried their luck with a QB, and it didn't work out. In 1996, the Colts would draft Marvin Harrison. He wouldn't become the Hall of Fame receiver we know today until Peyton entered the scene. The 1997 Colts' only strong suit was their run game with Marshall Faulk. Now let's compare the 1997 Colts to the 2020 Jaguars, which, spoiler alert, Trevor Lawrence will be a Jaguar. And as you can see, this is no easy situation. Lawrence, like Manning, is going to start right away on a dumpster fire of a team, and is going to be expected to be the savior of the franchise, which is a lot of pressure, but not impossible. Peyton Manning was able to do it. Oh, and the Jaguars' one strong suit is their run game as well. And no, I'm not saying James Robinson is going to be the next Marshall Faulk. Now in conclusion, Peyton Manning and Trevor Lawrence have a ton of similarities, and they have their fair share of differences. If you were to force me to answer the question of whether or not Trevor Lawrence will be as successful as his idol Peyton Manning, I would say he has a good shot. But it feels like in this new era of first-round quarterbacks, they get injured more often. And that's despite all the new rules to protect the QB that are now set in place. But my prediction, just for the sake of looking back on this video one day, is that Trevor Lawrence will win 1 Super Bowl and a minimum of 2 league MVPs when it's all said and done. Thank you guys for watching, and tell me down below how you like this comparison, and will Trevor Lawrence have a good career in the NFL? Shout out, it's Splash. Go subscribe to him. He's going to be making NFL videos here pretty soon.